All right, welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Education for Avery County Schools. I'm Keith Eades, Superintendent, and have with us today Justin Carver and Laurie Ryan. And how are you folks doing today?
We're doing fine. Glad to be here again, promoting our show.
Right, it's that time of year again, and it's time for us to get, well, you've been working for a long time, actually, for getting this year's production of the Extraordinary Players underway. And we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But let's talk a little bit about what Extraordinary Players are.
Well, I started it about 11 to 12 years ago, and it's a group of students. It started out with only special needs students, and it has grown to encompass special needs, academically gifted, and typically developing students in the elementary school, Newland Elementary. And we use it as a way of increasing their communication skills, their social skills, and since Mr. Carver jumped on board, we have movement and dance and singing, and it's just a way for us to produce some kind of a valid project for people to view to see what happens when you get a group of people together and teach them how to communicate.
Right. This is, like you said, this is elementary students that are ranging from what grades?
Well, we've got pre-K students all the way up to 5th grade.
Pre-K to 5th grade.
Right.
Right. And this is the third year I've been able to be a part of seeing the program. The first year I think was at Lees McRae College, and last year you did Kicking It Down the Yellow Brick Road over at Farthing Auditorium here in Boone, and that's going to be your venue again this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, again this year we'll be back at Farthing Auditorium, April 20th for the public and April 21st for Avery County schools and other school systems. But last year we were a little nervous because it was a new venue and it was a new site for Extraordinary Players, but they're very accommodating at Farthing Auditorium, and it worked out well there last year, and it's a good public, and the arts is very important here in Boone, so they embraced us, and we're back here in Boone again this year.
Right, and tell us a little bit about your production this year. It's called Cinder 5. Tell us a little bit about it, and
Go ahead.
what we can expect.
We talked about earlier coming with an open mind.
Right.
Well, the title Cinder 5, it's a takeoff of Cinderella, and it's really a takeoff of Cinderfella, because our Cinderella is a male, and it's contrasting one family with another. So the Cinder 5 is a family, and who he falls in love with is a princess that is at the Kingdom 5. And when I was having a really hard time, how am I going to twist this so that it's different? And Justin, at that point, Michael Jackson was hot in the news, and he wrote down on a piece of paper, Cinder 5, and I said, that's it. That's how I'm going to run it. So our main character, Dancing Dan, is the Cinderella, and he is, of course, shunned by his brothers and sisters and falls in love when he goes over to the ball with a princess that's at the kingdom. So it's got a lot of great music, as you would guess, Michael Jackson music, current music that Justin has come up with, some great dancing, and the plot is twisted, but if you keep in mind the Cinderella theme, you'll get it. I mean, it's a little boy that is perfect in all ways, except his brothers and sisters are really not letting him be what he needs to be.
And he is best friends with the chef of the family, and in the basement it's where he kind of goes to get away from his family, and that's where he really shines. And his best friends are the chef and the rats that hang in the kitchen with him, so they kind of build him up and encourage him to be who he wants to be, and that he is a good character and he's a good person. And so his fairy godparents come and they transform into Dancing Man Dan, and he goes to the ball, and rather than losing a shoe like Cinderella would, he loses his dancing glove. So that's a kind of spin of Cinderella, but it keeps up with the same storyline. It's just Cinderfella rather than a Cinderella.
Well, I know every one of your productions, you try to have a message that comes across through the production, and how would you kind of
be courageous, stick with who you think you are. If you think you're doing the right thing, be courageous and go for it. And in Dancing Dan, he was a good person, he was a kind person, he loved to dance, he loved the rats below because they were real people, and it brought him what he wanted in life. So that is the message this year. And you're right, we always try to convey a message that we want everyone to try to abide by and live by.
Right, if you want to hold up your poster just a second to the camera, and this is kind of a flyer, and hopefully we can get more of a close picture on this later on. But if you notice, there is a staircase, and toward the bottom, very reminiscent of Michael Jackson.
And the cool thing about this year's poster is the people who created the posters, while the visiting artist was here, they came in and they took pictures of the actual scenery. So this is a decoupage. Is that correct?
Yes, Mod Podge and decoupage. This is all in foil, and a lot of it's painted. And then they came and superimposed this on the staircase with the Michael Jackson and the glove on it. And the visiting artist was an awesome experience. We had Mickey Banner gave us about 11 students from the high school to collaborate with us. The volunteers from the community, parents of the community, because we were fighting all those snow days. I mean, she came on days that we didn't even have school, and the parents and everybody showed up. Kids showed up on those no days, so it was awesome.
Well, tell us again the dates and the venue and the times, and so that people can start putting it on their calendar.
We'll be at Farthing Auditorium April 20th at 6:30, and that's open to all public and kids, parents, public people in the Boone visiting areas to come out. And then on April 21st, that's a Wednesday, it's at 10:30 a.m. and that's open to Avery County schools, school systems around
all
surrounding
school
areas.
systems.
It's different this year. Last year we were on a Thursday and Friday schedule, but since earlier in the year we're on a Tuesday and Wednesday this year. So I'm very excited about being back at Farthing.
And the one Tuesday night is 6:30 on April the 20th. And
then Wednesday at 10:30 for the school systems.
And we have a website that is up and running now with this on it, so it's www.extraordinaryplayers.com. And you can blog. It's connected to my website at school. So any questions you have, go ahead and contact me that way.
Right, and I know you did the two productions last year. You had the Thursday night, like you said, that was open to the public, and I think that was pretty well attended. And then I know you had a packed house for the day the school groups came, and all such as that. And like you said, I think the Farthing Auditorium is a fantastic venue for the kids to showcase their talents and get the true theater feel.
And even though it is elementary students performing the play, I think high school kids. Some high school students in the theater department there, they came and they loved the show, and they actually understood, the plot and the music, and they kind of formed it all together. So even though it's an elementary school production, I think middle schools and high schools would really gain a lot from attending the production as well.
And as usual, we really want an interactive audience. We want them to, if they feel the need to stand up and dance, we want them to stand up and dance, because it's some great music and some great dance numbers that Justin is choreographing.
And that gives energy to the kids, too.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
yes. And the sound system and the lighting system is wonderful. We're going to have fog again. Mr. Carver started something our opening is going to be a little bit different. So it's pretty exciting. It's a lot of music.
And it's incorporated everyone in the faculty at Newland, and it's, showing that we are a family there, and everyone's kind of on board with Extraordinary Players. And so the opening this year is going to be very special, and we're not going to tell too much about that, but we're excited about what's going to happen there.
Right, and I know, Laurie, you and I talked last week a little bit about the fact that trying to encourage future teachers at ASU, at Lees McRae, at Malin Community College that are going to work with special needs kids, gifted kids, students in general. This is a fantastic venue for them to come and see a culmination of a work that's been in progress for a long period of time for some of the kids and a shorter period for others, and just how being on stage and that presence and the performance brings out the best in those students.
Absolutely. And we have a student teacher that's working with our fourth grade teacher that is awesome this year. He has a theater background, and he's gone out and spread the word at ASU. So we hope in the communications department, the people that I know, everybody can glean something from what we do and what these kids can do. And everybody, from the little kids from 3 years to 4 years old, get something out of seeing it, as well as those that are on stage being on on the show. So.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here today and talking a little bit about Cinder 5. And again, go over the times of the production for us for our
April
audience.
20th, that's a Tuesday night at 6:30. That's for the public, open to all public. And then April 21st, it's a Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. for Avery County Schools, Watauga County Schools, and surrounding areas.
And, of course, it's free.
Keyword free. Great family entertainment, and I can vouch for the program, too. I mean, you won't be disappointed. A lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm. And appreciate all you do to make this happen.
Thanks
for having
us. And thank you for the support from the
Yes.
board and from your office. Thank you.
And thank you guys for joining us for another edition of Spotlight on Education for Avery County Schools. We'll see you next week.